also one of the spokesperson, and a member of the House Prosecution Panel. To start the ball rolling, let's hear first the opening statement of Representative Zamora.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our friends in media and to everyone watching. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. So, as an opening statement, let me recap what we have seen in the past 2 days. We presented Attorney Jeremy Lotok of the NBI. He is the chief of the Cybercrime Division when the investigation subject of this case was conducted, and the gist of his testimony was that the threats made by the vice president against the president, the first lady, and the former speaker of the House of Representatives were real, actual, and serious. He also said that if they allowed this behavior, if they did not find the threats to be serious, then anarchy, chaos, and disorder would occur, as this behavior is highly unusual. We were able to conclude the presentation of the witness. There was, after the direct testimony, there was cross, there was redirect and recross. And we concluded the presentation of the witness yesterday. He also answered questions by the senator judges, but in essence, and as earlier stated, he reiterated that the threats were actual, serious, and real. Also, yesterday, counsel for the panel of the prosecution, Attorney Lorna Patacunan, manifested that we will no longer be presenting Attorney Zulaika Lopez and Captain Belinda Bello as witnesses for the prosecution in relation to Article 4, or the grave threats article. This is because their testimonies would merely be corroborative, meaning dadagdagan lang naman nila yung testimonya ng ating dalawang witnesses na si Agent John Mark Calilong at si Attorney Jeremy Lotok. In the words of Attorney Kapunan, their testimonies would be unnecessary, redundant, and a mere surplusage. So we have for later the oral arguments regarding the BIR box, and we will hear the sides, the two sides, and we were given 15 minutes each to present our case and 10 minutes for rebuttal. And of course, time was given also to the senator judges for their questions. So in the meantime, that is our opening statement. I hope that everyone will watch the proceedings later and in the coming weeks. Thank you very much.
All right, we're now ready to answer your questions. Rosalie, do the honors.
Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, sirs. Ano po ba ang relevance ng process na isasagwa po mamaya sa oral arguments po sa request na isapina yun pong bank records and tax records of the Vice President, given that pang-fourth naman po itong article na ito sa presentation nyo po?
Well, first you'd remember that we first filed the request for the issuance of subpoena for these documents. And then the parties were directed to submit the respective memorandum. No? So doon ho tinatalakay kung ano yung mga kanya-kanyang legal arguments and positions namin dito. At minabuti na din ng impeachment court na iset din ito for all our arguments. No? And I think magiging purpose nito mainly is, aside from hearing the parties articulate their arguments in support of their position, gusto din nilang magkaroon ng pagkakataon yung mga senator judges na matanong ng diretso yung mga parties ukol sa bagay na to. Ngayon, that's a good question. Bakit natin pinag-uusapan na ito kung itong mga dokumentong ito ay relevant pa with respect to the unexplained wealth na based on the order of presentation of evidence, pinakahuli pa naman yan. Pero minabuti na ho kasi namin na mas maaga, humingi na ng subpoena para sa documents na to para ho masigurado nating hindi makapag-cause ng delay yung usapin ho dito, no? Because we already anticipated it. Again, they will probably try to block it, which is exactly what they're trying to do now. Kaya we already asked for their issuance in advance para tuloy-tuloy na ho yung pagpresenta namin ng ebidensya pag nandun na tayo sa unexplained wealth.
Okay po.
Well, you want us to respond to...
If you want to, sir, it's all right.
Well, unang-una, it also allows the court to examine and probably to appreciate these documents. Remember, these documents are not only technical, but it could be voluminous. So to give time for the court also, and for the defense as well, to appreciate these documents and also to have them time na makita nila kung ano yung and how relevant these are, these documents to the articles that we would present after the grave threats.
Follow-up lang po. Since si Representative Terry Redon po, yun pong assigned prosecutor to lead yung pong presentation sa article na ito, do we expect him also to lead the prosecution in the oral arguments?
Every time we're asked about a particular assignments of the prosecutors, you always have one response. No, we hope you understand why we can't go into the details of these matters. These are matters of strategy that we can't disclose. Para clear lang ho, ayaw naman namin magmukhang bakit tayo di pa namin sabihin. Sabi nyo nga, of course, naghahanda kami. Alam na namin kung sino ang mga designated lawyers sa mga ganyan-ganyang bagay. No? Pero iniiwasan lang ho natin yung sitwasyon na we will say in advance, this particular prosecutor will handle this matter, will do these arguments, will present this witness, no? Pero pagdating na sa panahon, nauupo na itong testigo na to, baka biglang merong kailangang changes for whatever reason, unavailability, no, whatever. Iniwasan lang natin yung sitwasyon na baka gawin pang issue to, no? O bakit biglang nagpalit, no? Nagkaroon ba ng problema, whatever. So may nabuti natin na hintayin na lang natin, no? Total, yan naman ang mas importante dito, no? Yung mga ebidensya na ilalapag namin, argumento, na ilalatag namin sa korte, hindi ho yung mga personalities.
Dadagdag ko lang, Congressman Terry Redon is more than capable to handle this article. In fact, he was assigned to present this article to the court. But there are certain adjustments and elbow room for the prosecution to make sure na whatever is the flow, kasi depende rin po yan sa flow ng discussion sa korte. So mag-a-adjust na talaga yung presentation din ng evidence, including the prosecutors who would present evidence and the call for testimony of witness sa impeachment court. So kaya ganun may elbow room pa rin. So elbow room is meaning to say allowing the prosecution panel to decide on time kung ano yung mas hindi lang strategy but how to relay the information or the evidence clearly to the public. Yun ang pinaka-primary consideration po ng House Prosecution Panel, not just to prove to the court that we have the evidence to prove our allegation, but as well as for the public to effectively and easily understand.
Sorry po sa kulit. Miyane. But we heard reports po si Representative Shell Jokno po, yung pong mangunguna sa oral arguments ng prosecution team. Is that confirmed?
Oral arguments today. No? So, a while ago, you were asking about the next articles. Is that
No.
okay?
For today's oral
But
arguments
for today's,
po.
again, I hope you'll understand that.
That's not yet confirmed po.
Let's just wait and see. Total,
last na
ilang
lang po.
hours na lang naman mag-start na tayo.
Okay po. Ikaw na lang yun, B. Last na lang, sorry. Yun pong, if ever lang, speculative question. If ever hindi pagbigyan po ng impeachment court, yun pong inyong request for the subpoena ng bank and tax records, enough pa po ba or sufficient po yung evidence nyo po to prove the allegation of unexplained wealth against the Vice President?
Definitely, we have enough evidence to support each of the articles. And even if we don't have the documents that we are requesting for, we can support the prosecution of the 4 articles.
Of course, no, we don't want to preempt the decision that and the action that the impeachment court will take on this matter. But as pointed out by Kong Will, our case is not hinged on just one evidence, no? For example, as we've stated, we intend to present these documents in relation to the articles of impeachment, no? For the charges on unexplained wealth. So, ang dami hong dokumento na gagamitin din, no, para mapagpatibay ho yung charges, no, tukol dito. For example, we have the SAL-ends, no? We have so hindi lang isa yan, madami ho yan, no, yung doon sa AMLAC records, BI records, bank records, and testimonies of witnesses. No? So hindi naman ho nakasalalay lang sa isang ebidensya yung kaso natin.
Idadagdag ko lang, no, every evidence will stand on its own merit. Ang ginagawa po ng ebidensya, tinatahi po yung pinapresenta ng ebidensya at yung pangalawang ebidensya para magkaroon po ng whole picture understanding ating mga kababayan para ino-collaborate po ng isang ebidensya patungo doon sa ebidensya. So, importante po yun. Again, ito pong impeachment trial na ito, sui generis po siya, may legal component. Meron din pong component kung saan dapat ang taong bayan mas maintindihan nila lang maayos yung ating pinag-uusapan dito. So, we are also looking at presenting this evidence not based on its probative value but based on how the people would understand and have a full picture of what we're talking here under the article na kung saan pag-uusapan yung unexplained wealth ng Vice Presidente.
Sir, very quick clarification lang. Mamaya po ba, dalawa yung motion na lalatagan doon sa oral arguments. Hiwalay po yung tax records, hiwalay din yung AMLAC and bank records. Paki-clarify lang, sir.
Yes, that's correct. No? But as to how they'll go about it dun sa oral arguments, no? Because I think we were given 15 minutes, no, to present our side, and mukhang kasama na yun, no, yung two issues. No? Kailangan matapos na within 15 minutes.
Depende po sa Senator Judges paano sila magbobotohan. Kasi natanong po yun ni Cayetano kahapon kung hiwalay ba.
In terms of how they'll rule on it, yes, these are separate requests. So, although, no, ang mga arguments dyan would be meron na common arguments. No? For example, yung arguments nila about pre-office conduct. No? Ayaw nilang makapagpresenta tayo ng ebidensya na paukol dun sa mga panahon na hindi pa siya presidente. So that applies to all. So yung arguments dun relating to those different kinds of documents.
Sorry, sir. Just to follow up on Ate Rose's question. Bale, sabi ninyo kanina, if ever hindi payagan ng impeachment court itong inyong motion, ay meron pang mga ibang evidence that can support this alleged unexplained wealth article. Kasi I understand dun sa hearing ng House, ang crucial was the AMLC report. Can you expound lang kung how will you prove this just based on SAL-en po ba?
Can I take it first muna na? Unang-una siguro, we're getting ahead of ourselves. No? Why are we already speculating that it won't be granted? No? Because ang position namin dito, napakalinaw. Of course, no? We respect, no, the authority of the impeachment court to rule on this matter. No? Ang Constitution, sa kanila yung binigayan. But just the same, ang position namin, we don't see any reason why we should not allow, no, the introduction of these documents, no, in these impeachment proceedings. After all, purpose nito impeachment proceedings nito, no, is to exact accountability. No? Yan ang hinihingi din ng mga tao. Bakit hindi natin tignan lahat ng mga ebidensya na makakapagpakita kung ano ba ang katotohanan? No? Kung makakabuti ito or hindi makakabuti sa magkabilang panig o kanino man. At the end of the day, makikita talaga yan kapag binuksan natin. So, hayaan natin. No? Wag nating, pangunahan, at wag nating katakutan yung paglatag ng ebidensya. Kung merong kakatakutan, siguro yung paghadlang sa ebidensya. Ano?
Ako ang in connection to that, no, ito'y isa doon sa panawagan halimbawa at pagrerespeto din in a way you can say it doon sa mandato po ng Senado to try and decide ang impeachment case. Dahil unang-una mabibigyan ho para sa amin itong pagpresenta itong mga ebidensya na to, maibibigyan po ng lahat ng anggulo ang impeachment court na mag-decide sa kanilang judgment, mag-arrive into judgment with all the complete evidence and the whole picture in order for them to appreciate and eventually to arrive into impartial and sound judgment. So ito'y makakatulong din po sa mag-exercise ng impeachment court ng kanilang mandato bilang hukom, no? Mas maganda po para sa amin yung isang trial ay accessible ang lahat ng mga relevant na dokumento, testimonya at witnesses para ang korte ay mabigyan ng whole picture o lahat ng kinakailangan na dokumento para sa kanilang para ma-exercise sila kanilang trabaho at mag-render din ng mas magandang at mas na appropriate at proper na resolution or judgment pagdating sa punto na ito'y matatapos na.
Okay, Tina, your turn.
Good morning po, Kongs and Attorney. Can you walk us through what will happen this afternoon? Like, mauuna po bang mag-argue yung prosecution because kayo po yung nagpapasabpina and immediately followed by the defense po ba? Or can the senator judges already ask questions sa prosecution? Ano po yung mangyayari?
So it seems like we'll be given the first opportunity to articulate our arguments in support of our request for issuance of subpoena. So we'll be given 15 minutes to do that. That will be followed by the respondent's turn to discuss their counter arguments. No? Tapos merong rebuttals. So we'll be given 10 minutes. 10 minutes will also be given to the other side. And it looks like once we're done, that will be the time when the senators would be asking questions towards the parties.
Thank you.
No follow-up. Eden, your turn.
Good morning po. Yun pong pag-address ng prosecution panel sa mga testigong sina Attorney Lopez and Bello ay parang patunay na hindi na pag-isipang mabuti ng prosecution ito bago sila ginawang testigo or natatakot lang ang prosecution panel na baka sa halip na makatulong ay makasama pa po sa kaso under Article 4 ng impeachment.
Actually, without giving too much information from the prosecutors here, it's actually the opposite. It's the opposite why we decided not to dispense with the testimony of Attorney Zulaika and Ms. Bello, precisely because we think it over and we have decided, pag-usapan talaga, na yun talaga yung proper na way to move forward. Unang-una, we don't want to consume too much time of the court kasi kailangan ang mismong respondent also deserves expeditious trial. Pangalawa, gusto rin natin, again, binabalikan po natin ito, na gusto natin ang may latag na kaso or ang argument na pag-explain natin sa articles ng ating kaso ay mas maintindihan ng maayos ng ating mga taong bayan. Kung nailatag naman po yung dapat na rason kung bakit ipapatawag sana natin si Attorney Zulaika at si Captain Bello ng mga naunang testimonya ni Mr. Lotok ay para sa amin, it is proper and it is more convenient for the court to dispense with the presentation of Attorney Zulaika and Ms. Bello. So your question, hindi ba napag-usap? Actually, it's the opposite. Pinag-isipan ng mas maayos.
Can I also add something to that? Tulad doon na sabi namin dati, pagkatapos namin magupo ng testigo, lagi ho kaming sa team, we meet, nag-uusap, nag-analyze, nag-assess. Ano na ang mga importanteng bagay na natalakay na ng aming testigo? At ano pa ang mga ninanais naming talakayin gamit ng mga ibang testigo? At titignan namin kung ito ay na-cover na, natalakay na nung mga naupo namin, hindi na kailangang iupo pa sa witness stand yung mga iba. Sabi nga ni Kong Zian, naririnig ho namin ang panawagan ng mismong impeachment court ng mga kababayan natin na wag nating itong pahabain unnecessarily. And that is exactly what we're doing. Gusto din naman naming mapabilis ito as much as possible. Now, ano ba ang mga naging importanteng mga testimonya na binigay na sa atin ng dalawa nating witnesses? First, napakalinaw na dun sa naging testimonya ni Agent Calilong, authenticate na nung video kung saan ginawa yung pagbabanta sa buhay ng presidente, no? At alalahanin natin during that first hearing, I mean the first witness's testimony, mismong depensa na ang umamin sa katanungan ng mga senador na ginawa talaga itong threat na to. Ano ho? So wala nang question diyan, ginamit pa nila yung sariling video. Second, si Attorney Loto, pinaliwanag niya, no, he emphasized that the detention was not the cause of the threats. It was not the cause why the Vice President had an agreement with an assassin to assassinate the President. No, Attorney Lotok pointed out that it was admitted by the Vice President during that November 23, if I'm mistaken, no? Yeah, live interview, no? Na sinabi niya doon, nung tinanong siya, sumagot siya, huwag kayong mag-alala, meron na akong kinausap. No? Meron na akong kinausap na tao. Sinabi ko, di ba, nabigay siyang instructions, patayin mo ang presidente, ang asawa niya, no? First Lady, Speaker of the House. At sinabi niya, pumayag na siya. Sinabi niya, oo, no? Okay. At nagbigay pa siya ng instructions paano gawin nito. Diba? Huwag mo silang titigilan. Huwag kang titigil hanggang di mo sila napatay. Napaka-importante ho na, no? Dahil sinabi nga ni Attorney Lotok, ang pinapatunayan nito, nagkaroon na ng ganitong kasunduan na patay ng presidente bago pa nangyari ang detention. So, hindi ang detention ang reason kung bakit nangyari to. Pupunta ako ngayon, bakit hindi na natin kailangan tawagin pa, no? Si Attorney Zulaika, no? At si Captain Bello. Si Attorney Zulaika, maalala natin, during cross-examination, pinalabas ng depensa yung portion ng video kung saan makikitang nandun din siya sa loob ng kwarto kasama ng Vice Presidente nung ginawa itong mga pananakot. Ano? So, initially, we wanted to present her as witness to help authenticate the document, no? The video. Pero, again, wala na hong issue dun sa authenticity dahil dun sa dalawa nating witnesses. Same as Captain Bello, no? She was supposed to testify, among others, yung circumstances surrounding this utterance. But, tulad nga ho, nang nasabi ko kanina, sinabi na nga ni Attorney Lotok, we don't need, no, to dwell on that dahil malinaw naman, hindi ang detention, no, ang reason kung bakit nagkaroon ng pananakot. Ang detention lang ay yun ang naging panahon kung kailan inanunsyo sa buong mundo na meron ng kasunduan na ipapatay ang presidente. So, because of those two clear testimonies of our first two witnesses, there's no more need to present Zulaika Lopez and Captain Bello.
If I may add, every day po after trial here, the whole prosecution team meets to discuss the witnesses for that day. Ginagawa po namin to araw-araw to see if there will be some change in the strategy, to see if we can limit the number of witnesses para po hindi mapagod ang ating senator judges, ang ating lawyers on both sides, at ating publiko na nanonood sa atin. So if we can limit the number of witnesses dahil po nasabi na ng ating mga witnesses ang kailangan nilang sabihin at ang gusto nating marinig, then we will limit the number of witnesses. And this is what we did. Siguro po, to add, no, it is the purpose for the presentation of Attorney Lopez was to indeed to authenticate. And it is not only because our first two witnesses, or the first witness authenticated the video, and our second witness explained the whole process of the investigation of the NBI, that we are removing Attorney Lopez as a witness. But it is because the defense themselves used the video that we presented. In short, sila po mismo tanggap nila na authentic ang ating video. Tanggap nila na sinabi ng Vice Presidente ang mga statements niya. It is just a matter of defense kung ano yung represent nila, no? In relation to the words stated by the by the Vice President. Remember, nung nag-closing argument ang kanilang abogado, si Attorney Binluan, sinabi nga niya na, well, she said these statements because she was a mother, daughter, you know, all of that. And she was responding to threats. But in essence, the defense, are admitting that she made the statements, and these statements are threats.
Idadagdag ko lang, Eden, no? Practicality of the whole situation that we're in right now, no? Moving forward to the next presentation of the witness. Kasi kung lahat naman po tayo nanonood ng impeachment trial ng ibang nakaraang araw na ito, minsan ho, yung adjustment na ginagawa ng prosecution ay depende doon sa actual na development ng trial. Ibig sabihin, kung si Attorney Lotok, na-explain na nga po ni Attorney Jay at saka ni Kong Bell, na nasabi na niya ito. Nasabi na ni Attorney Lotok, so hindi na kailangan pa yung mismong tao na mag-testify na yes, nandoon ako. Kasi na-verify na yon from both the prosecution and the defense. So, I guess, again, ang decision ay minsan ay base po doon sa aktual na pangyayari sa trial. So, ang nangyari ng aktual na pangyayari at narinig natin kay Attorney Lotok ay nandoon nga si Attorney Zulaika Lopez, si Attorney Bello, ang i-testify naman ni Attorney Bello ay yung pagta-transfer from the house detention facility doon sa saan yung facility correctional, no? Sa may Mandaluyong. And that would be her possible testimony. So, kumbaga parang na-lay down na yon, na-accept na yon at na-establish na yon as a fact. So, there's no need to, again, call on these two individuals in order for the public to know and determine na nandun nga sila sa facility na. It would be redundant and also for the practicality of time para to make use effectively the time that we are allotted by the court in so far as presentation of the Article 4 is concerned.
Attorney, nabanggit niyo po na at nagbigay pa siya ng instruction paano gagawin ito, yung pagpateho no, regarding dun sa taong kinausap niya. Huwag mong titigilan hanggat di mo sila napatay. So, kinukonfirma nyo rin po ba na may banta sa buhay ng Vice Presidente? Kasi mangyayari lang po yung binanggit nyong pagpatay sa tatlo kung siya ay napatay na.
Definitely not. No? Una, paulit-ulit din ho itong na talakay dun sa mga nakaraan na mga pagdinig, no? Na hanggang ngayon, maliwanag, wala hong kahit na anong ebidensya na sumusuporta dito na meron pagtatangkaw o pagbabanta sa buhay ng presidente. No? Ulitin natin, maganda ho yung na-point out ng ibang mga senator judges dito, no? Dahil na-raise during that interview yung Romanov, no? Na mukhang yan yung sinasabing konteksto ng pagbabanta sa Vice Presidente. Pero na-point out ho yan kahapon na itong usapin na Romanov na to, unang-una ho itong nabanggit ni Mayor Baste Duterte at ang konteksto ho nun ng pagkakasabi niya ay pagbabanta sa first family. No? Na-point out nga ho sa mga senator, no? Ang sinabi doon, bago kayo matulog ngayong gabi, alalahanin nyo yung nangyari sa mga Romanov. No, yan ho yan. Hindi ho sila natanggal because of peaceful political uprising. They were assassinated. No? They were executed. So maliwanag, itong Romanov na to, pananakot ho to, no? Sa buhay ng first family. So, yung tinatanong yung naamin ba ng prosecution na meron far from it, no? Dahil walang kahit na anong ebidensya. And importante din, balikan natin yung sinabi ni Attorney Lotok dyan, no? Sinubukan nilang mag-imbestiga paukol dito. Inimbitahan nila ng ilang beses ang Vice Presidente pero hindi ho tumugon sa paanyaya. Kaya hindi sila nagkaroon ng oportunidad, no? Na mas magkaroon pa ng mas malalim pang investigasyon dito.
Idadagdag ko lang, no? First of all, hindi po pwedeng i-dismiss kung ano man yung mga reports of grave threats. That's why I commend NBI for taking cognizance of this. No? Dahil unang-una, apart from mandato talaga nila na mag-imbestiga ng grave threats, if the threats are directed to the President, the sitting Vice President, at yung mga matataas na panimpunino ng ating gobyerno, talagang they can do that man motu proprio to conduct and preliminary investigation. So hindi dapat talaga nadidismiss yan. Pero apart from yung sinabi po ni Attorney Jay na elucidated and explained very well ni Attorney Lotok na binigyan ng pagkakataon. In fact, she was invited, at Princess Maui was invited to share information what they know about Oplan Romanov. Diba? Pero unfortunately, for 2 consecutive subpoenas or an invitation by the NBI, there's an unwillingness on the part of the Vice President and Miss Princess Maui not to share this very important information on the basis that she was very busy or she was busy with some office matters. Ang ordinary po na tao magtatanong, if we're talking about life and death situation, especially if there's an attempt to wipe out your family, would it be that the topmost priority of everybody na dapat if you have that opportunity for the investigative agency to delve into this matter, you will grab it. You will set aside all the matters that you are doing, all things that you are doing, precisely because it's a life and death situation. It does not only concern you, it also concerns the safety of your family. So bakit ordinary people would ask, bakit hindi pumunta? So ang nangyayari ngayon, and still, ang sinabi po ng NBI, this is still a case built up. May case built up pa. It doesn't even reach the stage where there's really that filing. No? Nagki-case build up pa. Ibig sabihin, open pa yung opportunity po para sa kanila, para pumunta sa NBI and to share information, whatever they know about this threat or this Oplan Romanov. So it's time for them. But how come for several months, even over a year now, ay wala pa rin pumupunta sa NBI. So again, it's very clear that the NBI is still open para maimbestiga ito. Pero compare that to the threat that the Vice President said in that Zoom meeting. In fact, if you ask me, it's not just a mere threat. It was actually a revelation. It was a confession because she actually described the way by which she sought the help of a killer in order to carry out her bidding of killing the president, the first lady, and the former speaker. It is not as simple as threatening you because you are doing something bad to me. That's why I want also to do something bad to you. It was actually a revelation. No? So, ipagtabi po natin yung narinig natin kay Princess Maui at yung nasabi accordingly sa first na lumabas itong Romanov sa statement ni Mayor Baste sa May Sugrari with that of the description of the meeting between the Vice President and the hitman. Magkaiba po yun. No? Kaya nga po, and this does not reflect the position of the House Prosecution Panel, but I think this is if they cannot supply an intelligent or information to the NBI to have a basis to carry on with their investigation regarding this Oplan Romanov, I think, and I'm sorry, this is, for me, is a manufactured scenario.
All right, Dwight, your turn.
Hello po, good afternoon, sirs, ma'am. I would like to ask po sana for you to take us behind the scenes a bit. How spontaneous was the decision to drop Zuleika Lopez from the witness list? Did that happen lang ba talaga during the, when you ask for a 5-minute, ang tawag dun, parang 5-minute break or huddle? Or was it floated ba at least a day before in in your conversations? Sino yung nag-float nitong idea na, ay, wag na nating isaalang si Zuleika Lopez? Whatever you can disclose lang.
Yes, of course. Every day po, pag nag-uusap kami, pinag-uusapan namin kung present pa ba natin ito, yung susunod. Hindi lang naman to kay Zuleika Lopez at kay Captain Bel Bello. After all, we are already prepared to present these witnesses. We've been preparing for many months now. And we have our draft question and answers or questions. And we already have in our heads kung ano sana yung flow, no? Pero araw-araw nagbabago po yan. Maski na not considering Attorney Lopez or Captain Bello, sabihin ko sa inyo, noong una nga, ang represent namin si Captain Bello dapat. Pero after one day, naisip namin si Agent Calilong. Nagbabago-bago po every day ang aming strategy depending on what happens earlier in the day.
Congresswoman, could you just say na at least the day before, pagkatapos nung day 4, nag-huddle kayo, it was floated at least yung idea na baka hindi na natin kailangan si Zulaika Lopez for day 5. Given also dahil last week, matatandaan natin, Vinluan, the defense lawyer, in his closing speech, he said that the threat made by the Vice President while conditional is justified. So,
Yes.
parang may admission na rin nun
Yes.
that week. So, may yun bang mga ganong statements trigger na yun to at least discuss it a day prior to have it
Yes.
floated? So, it was discussed at least.
Indeed, we discussed it the day before, we discussed it earlier. And again, hindi lang po ito para kay Zulaika, even for Captain Belbelio, who's our witness from Congress. So sila pong lahat to pinag-uusapan namin every day, yung ating list of witnesses or who will be presented the following day and the list of witnesses for the coming days.
But Congresswoman, it doesn't stop naman the prosecution from asking the court to compel Zulaika to attend in the future, given that she is listed primarily as a witness in the first article of impeachment, which is confidential funds.
Yes, of course, we can still present her in the succeeding articles should the prosecution see that there is a need to present her.
And on another topic po, yung memo, the prosecution and the defense have both filed their memos to the impeachment court. I would assume that the defense also gave you a copy of their memo. Have you read it? Of course, I would assume that you've read it, but what is your appreciation of that memo by the defense? And siguro kahit in broad strokes lang, dahil I know naman that you cannot discuss necessarily the merits of the case, because the main argument of the defense there is that the prosecution or the impeachment court cannot obtain documents that were produced prior to her vice presidency. Ayun lang po.
I'm thinking how to respond to this safely, because as you know, this will exactly be the subject of the oral arguments to be had this afternoon. And I promise you, once that's done, we can discuss this at length. No? But so in broad strokes, what you could say, consistent with what already stated in our articles of impeachment, no, her act of failing to properly and accurately and fully disclose in her sal ends her total assets and net worth, no, during her entire incumbency as a public official, no, and not just when she became a vice president. These are all impeachable offenses. This is anchored in the Constitution, which does not place any temporal limitation, meaning there's no limitation as to time. You won't see that in the Constitution that states that impeachable offenses are limited to those done while you're in office. Diba? And at the end of the day, we're talking about fitness of a public official, the highest public officials, to remain in office. So I hope that will be enough for now, but I promise you after this, when you get a chance to talk about it again, we can elaborate and discuss it at length.
Maybe a quick soundbite
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
spokesman Adyong because
Thank
it's
you.
not covered by the sub judice.
And
Quick
this,
soundbite.
Yeah, and this does not reflect the position of the House prosecution. I'm speaking not just the House trial prosecutor. I'm also, I also watch the proceedings. And ako po ay isang Pilipino rin. At gusto ko rin pong malaman ang katotohanan. There would be no point of proving the allegation under the articles if you don't have a point of reference. No, if your only contention is the current financial record, you cannot derive into conclusion that there's really that unexplained wealth if you don't have, if you don't start, for example, providing evidence throughout the years kung saan nag-umpisa yung accumulation of wealth. So there has to be a point of reference, no? Whether anong year ba yan, anong taon na ba yan, it does not matter, no? Ang point is that you have, it's not that it does not matter, but it has to be certain point where you can actually prove to the court at malaman ng taong bayan na mayroong time, mayroong oras, may panahon kung paano ito nakuha yung yaman na ito. Kasi hindi mo mapoprove yan sa korte at hindi rin ma-appreciate halimbawa ng ating taong bayan na meron talagang allegation of hidden wealth kung ang titingnan mo lang ay isang punto lang ng kanyang salin. So you really have to go back to a point where you would prove to the court and to the people na meron talagang allegation, meron talagang unexplained wealth. So again, I'm responding to your question now, not just an House trial spokes or one of the House trial spokes, but also as a Filipino who really want to know the truth. Hindi ba ang taong bayan karapatan nilang malaman base doon sa artikulo ng unexplained wealth kung saan nag-umpisa at paano nasabi ng prosecution na meron unexplained wealth kung walang point na oras kung saan tayo magsisimula. Maraming salamat.
Dadagdagan ko lang last Dwight, no? Ang posisyon namin dito, clear from our stated in the articles of impeachment, ang pagkamkam ng hindi mapaliwanag na yaman, hindi ginawa sa iisang araw lamang. Dito magmula nung simulang araw, namupo bilang vice-presidente. So kailangan natin tuntunin kailan nagsimula to at nagpatuloy itong pagtatago nito hanggang umabot sa punto na siya ay vice-presidente na.
And the mere fact that we're talking not just of hidden unexplained wealth, but it is an accumulated wealth throughout the years. So you really have to stop somewhere.
All right, Joy, your question?
Buenos dias po. Nawala yung correct. Regards dun sa BIR box, BP Sara exercise her executive immunity or claim her executive privilege to withhold the important documents on that BIR box. Would you seek the judicial clarification from the Supreme
Sorry,
Court?
pwedeng ulitin natin na medyo mas dandahan para maintindihan namin at sasagutin namin mabuti. Yes.
Kasi po, nagkatuwaan po kami kahapon ng iba-ibang language. May Bisaya, may Koreana. Ayun, tanong na. Sir, yung sa BIR box po, how do you draw the line? If Vice President Sara exercise her executive immunity on opening the BIR box, yung ano po, kasi meron pong National Internal Revenue Code dyan, would you seek the judicial clarification from the Supreme Court?
First of all, there's no such thing as executive immunity, especially in relation to the disclosure of this BIR filings. Ano ho. So, sunod, kung ang tinatanong niyo, do we need to go to the courts to have this opened? Hindi ho. Ano, ang tamang venue to tackle this matter is the impeachment court. Ito na ho yun. Kaya dito ho namin sinumite ang aming request na compel yung home presentation and submission itong documents na to.
Dadagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Attorney G. Remember po nung tayo ay nasa Kongreso pa at pinag-usapan na namin nila Kuya Congresswoman Bell, itong box na to ng BIR, di ba? Nagkaroon po ng usap-usapan doon. That's why it was finally decided not to open the box, but instead to present it to the impeachment court, no? Dahil unang-una, ang position po ng BIR dyan is that it is not covered by the exception, no? Nung confirmation hearing na yon. So the exception, one of the exception for the ITR, whatever is the content on whatever is inside that box is ang impeachment trial. So nandito na po tayo sa punto kung saan masasabi po natin na exemption itong ginagawa po nating paglilitis dahil nandun po klaro sa batas na sinasabi ng ating head ng BIR na that's the only venue where we can actually open the box and to appreciate the content of the box, which in this case, the ITRs of the Vice President.
With regards naman po, sabi po nung defense panel, the evidence is assassin. If no assassin has
Joy, kindly put sa mic closer to you para
sige. First Lady Lisa Marcos, the claim meet the standard of substantial evidence. Kung wala pong napalutang na assassin. Yan po kasi yung kiniklaim ng defense panel.
Di naman po natin kailangan ng isang assassin na lumutang para patunayan na may threats po on the life of the President, the First Lady, and the former Speaker of the House. The mere fact that the respondent Vice President uttered these words, said these words, which was witnessed by a lot of people, or maybe almost everyone here, yun po yung mispong pagbabanta. Hindi po kailangan ng assassin mismo na lumutang para sabihin na may pagbabanta. Yun lang po.
Dadagdagan ko lang ho. Tama ho, we completely agree, no? Sa threats, hindi kailangan mapatunayan, no? Hindi kailangan dumaanak mo ng dugo, hindi kailangan merong bangkay bago mapatunayan na nangyari nga ito. Ang importante lang dito, tinitignan lang, meron bang pagbabanta na meron kang gagawin na labag sa batas? At seryoso ba ito? At pinaniwalaan ba ito ng taong tinatakot mo? Now, dun sa sinasabi nyo naman, meron bang assassin o wala? Napakaliwanag ho ng sagot dito. Meron. Anong basihan natin? Tulad sinabi ho ni Atty. Lotok, narinig natin pare-pareho ang si Presidente ang umamin dito. Explanation ni Atty. Lotok, this is what you call admission against interest. Sa rules on evidence natin, yan hong isa sa mga pinakamatibay, no, na klase ng ebidensya. No? Dahil ho dito, nanggaling na mismo dun sa tao. Ang reason ho dyan, bakit napakatibay niyang ebidensya? Dahil lang isang reasonableng tao, hindi siya magsasabi, magbibigkas ng isang bagay na ikakasama niya. Kaya, under rules of evidence, no, these are treated as proof of truth of those statements. So, meron ba? Meron. Meron bang assassin? Meron. Anong ebidensya natin dyan? Mismong admission against interest ho ng Vice Presidente. At hindi lang ho yan minsang sinabi. Alalahanin natin, nagkaroon siya ng oportunidad na klaruhin ang sinabi niya. 3 days after, no? Bawiin yung sinabi, sabihin na dala lang ng bugso ng damdamin, no? Pero 3 days after, mas kalmado na siya. No? So it can't be said that it's just a spur of the moment thing. Pero ano hong ginawa niya? Hindi niya binawi. Kinonfirm niya, she doubled down and tried to justify what she did by saying, revenge from the grave is not a criminal act. So, meron bang assassin? Ay, napakaliwanag o, meron.
Alam niyo po, sa amin sa prosecution, 100% nag-agree kami kay VP Sara. Ang hindi nag-agree sa kanya, ang kanyang depensa. Kaya nung sinabi niya na may assassin, paniwalang-paniwala po kami. Ang depensa, ayaw po nila maniwala. But again, ito mga abogado po yung mga kasamahan ko dito. No? Kung sa regular criminal proceeding, kailangan talaga. Kasi ang kinakailangan may mapapresenta mo is ma-prove mo beyond reasonable doubt. No? Dito po sa impeachment trial na ito, ang tinetest po natin is yung conduct, yung pananalita, yung galaw, yung pag-iisip, yung restraint. No? That despite political pressure, meron kang restraint ang isang halal na opisyal na hindi magsabi, gumawa o umutos ng anumang bagay na labag sa Constitution. Ito po yung pinag-uusapan natin dito, yung culpable violation of the Constitution, yung betrayal of public trust. These are constitutional standards imposed upon elective officials. At pag yun po ay nalabag, at saka na-establish naman po ng prosecution sa korte at sa ating taong bayan at mismo ang Vice Presidente po ang nagsabi na meron po siyang nakausap para ipapatay ang Presidente, ipapatay ang unang ginang, ipapatay ang former Speaker. Yun lang ho, no? Yung utterances, yung mismong pagsabi at pag-usap, pagkontrata sa isang assassin ay labag na po yan sa constitutional standard na Senate para po sa mga halal na mga opisyal. At in this case, dahil si VP Sara Duterte ay ang kanyang ino-occupy ay impeachable office at impeachable officer siya, talagang ang batayan ng Constitution ay naaayon doon sa standard na dinidemand ng Constitution sa mga halal na katulad po niya na impeachable officer.
Ibalik po natin lagi sa impeachable offenses na ito ay isang impeachment case, hindi po to isang criminal case. Kaya po, huwag natin hanapin ang mga elemento ng isang krimen. Ang hahanapin po natin ay yung fitness ng isang impeachable official na manatili to remain as the Vice President of the country. In this case, and in relation to Article 4, yung pananalita ba niya doon sa online press conference niya, kung saan sinabi niya na kung saan siya nagbanta sa buhay ng presidente, ng First Lady at ng former Speaker of the House, ito ba ay mga words na gusto nating naririnig sa ating second highest official? Yun ba ay isang character that should be exhibited by the Vice President? Again, babalik tayo, fitness po ng ating Vice President to remain or to be the Vice President.
On the alleged grave threats po, follow-up lang. Nabanggit po ninyo na na-establish na yung gustong ma-establish regarding the video, the utterances of the Vice President. Dito po sa video, do you still see the need to present the two journalists na according dito sa pre-trial brief ninyo, ang purpose ay to prove that the witness was present during the November 23, 2024 online press briefing na nasabi ninyo ay na-establish na po?
We are talking about the presentation of further witnesses. In the meantime, we have Director Matibag as the one listed next. So, let's just wait and see.
Kasi ma'am, I understand Tuesday po ninyo sinasubmit yung inyong parang list of witnesses for the following week. Nagawa na po ba ito at ilan po at least yung i-recommend natin for next week?
We will be informing the court about the identity of our witnesses next week during the hearing this afternoon. So let's wait for that so we could give the official list.
Magandang hapon po, Isa Umali from DZWB. 2 questions lang po. Inaasahan po ba na mas magbabawas pa po kayo ng mga testigos sa iba pang mga articles para mas mapabilis din po ito pong trial? And kung sakali po na magbabawas po kayo ng witnesses, hindi po ba ito makaka-apekto rin sa pagpapatibay po ng articles of impeachment? Thank you po.
Ang tulad ho kung paano yung ginawa namin dito sa article ho on threats, is ang babawasan lang naman namin na testigo, yung tingin namin hindi na kailangan no, para patunayan yung mga charges. So of course, kung material and relevant yung testimony niya at wala pang ibang witness na nakapag-cover ng topic na yan, hindi namin na waive yan. No? So again, at the end of the day, ang goal dito no, is to make sure that we'll be able to present solid evidence no, to substantiate the charges in the articles of impeachment. So, yan ho laging batayan natin. Yun ang tinitignan natin kung kailangan pa bang magdagdag o pwede na magbawas ng mga testigo.
And another question po. Umaasa po bang House Prosecution Panel na maglalabas po ng written authorization si President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. patungkol po doon sa BIR box? Thank you.
Well, una-una, ayaw namin pangunahan kung anong gagawin ng BIR dito. No? Nandito pa lang ho tayo sa punto ng hinihingi pa lang namin is for the impeachment court to issue a subpoena to the BIR directing it to submit these documents no, to the court. So, after that, let's see how the BIR will act.
Pero mas maganda sana kung may authorization.
Well, ang sinabi ho ng impeachment court mismo, no, they pointed it out. This is what happened in the late CJ Corona trial, and it was recognized that it's one of the exemptions in the National Internal Revenue Code. So, it's one of the exceptions under the law.
Sorry po makulit, pero wala pa pong abiso sa inyo, sa prosecution, na magbibigay ng authorization si President.
Wala ho kaming ganong communication, no? Basta ang importante sa amin, again, let's take it one step at a time. Nandito pa lang naman tayo dun sa request ng subpoena, no? And afterwards, hintayin ho natin kung ano magiging hakbang ng BIR.
Tama po ba, Attorney Tolosa, yung oral arguments, isang araw lang po yun? Tama po ba?
That's correct. That's correct. Later. Yeah.
Alright, dahil isang araw lang yung oral argument, samantalahin natin ng mga oras, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon makapaghanda ang ating membro ng panel of prosecution. Salamat po sa inyong mga katanungan. Muli, salamat kay Lanao del Sur 1st District Representative C. Alonto Adjong, Representative Isabel Mera Zamora of San Juan, and of course, Attorney Benjamin Tolosa Jr. Sa inyo rin po, maraming salamat. Magandang tanghali.